There we go. I see it.
Hello. We are here with Lari Jo. She is our science education specialist over at A Charlotte Mason Plenary. And we are just so thankful to have her, not only as the specialist, but also as a teacher in the Charlotte Mason Co-op. Lari Jo, say hi. You want to give us a little bit of background for maybe people that don't know you or know your credentials, your fabulous credentials.
My name's Lari Jo, and it is like two boys' names. It is Larry, not Lori. And I have a master's in I have a bachelor's in marine biology and a master's in ecological teaching and learning, which is basically the naturalist side of, or the generalist side of science, where very Charlotte Mason, like you go outside, you observe everything, and you take your cues from what you're learning from what you're visiting at the time. So that is my collegiate background. I taught in the regular classroom, middle school and high school for 9 years. And then I have been in the informal realm of teaching science at a nature center for 12 years. And now I'm out on my own and doing my own thing. So I'm happy to be here and happy to teach your kiddos.
Yes, and we're happy to have you. Yeah, we're lucky enough to have you locally here where I am, and you've helped a lot of Charlotte Mason homeschoolers here in various different ways. Um, Lots of great classes and stuff. But so let's talk about your classes at the Charlotte Mason Co-op, because you've got high school, you've got middle school, and you've got classes for like all ages. So I guess let's start with high school.
Okay.
High school biology. Tell us a
Yes.
little bit about that.
So high school biology is a 2-semester course. So we had biology 101 last semester, and we went all the way from the cell to the kingdoms in the plant kingdom, or the phyla in the plant kingdom. The spring semester, which is biology 102, will start with the systems in the body, go through the animal kingdoms and their phyla and some of their general characteristics, and then we'll do ecology in the spring. And during this whole year, we've been reading a Sand County Almanac. So they are keeping their own county almanacs wherever they are in the world, which has been a lot of fun because, we'll be talking about evergreens, and then it's like, well, I'm in Florida. I've never seen an evergreen, or I'm in Corpus, and what's an evergreen? So we've got to have some really good discussion about ecoregions as well while we're reading a Sand County Almanac and creating our own county almanacs where we live.
So for your high school biology class, now do students need to have taken the fall class to jump in for the spring?
No, not at all. All science is cyclical. So the nice thing about science is you'll come back and cover it again, usually 3 or 4 or 5 times. And so we'll be doing taxonomy of animals. So you will not have had the taxonomy of plants, but you'll get the taxonomy lessons that you can then go back and apply on plants. And, I'm here to answer any of those questions as we go through. And so you can take biology 102 before you take biology 101, or you can take them at the same time if you want to be crazy and do that, or you take 101 and then 102, whatever works for you.
Right. So somebody could sign up for 102 as their first class with you and then take 101, in the fall.
Yeah.
Yeah, whenever. Okay. And so I had a question and I lost it.
No.
So for biology, we're talking high school credits.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, half a credit per semester.
That's right.
Okay. And you've had guests come in for the high school classes.
So last semester when we were reading about the geology of Wisconsin, and it's so terribly different, we didn't have any students from that area. So I brought in a geologist who covered some of that geology for us, and then compared it to the coastal bend where he lives and where I live. And so then he was able to also open that door to everybody else to let them look at gave them some tools they could use to look at geology where they were and look at how that affects the habitat itself. So that was a lot of fun. I'm hoping to bring in a parasitologist in the spring to talk about parasites when we're studying the body. he's working on it. I don't know if he'll be live like my geologist or if he'll just be a video that we bring in. But yeah, I'm trying to kind of broaden that realm of other people's expertise and letting them hear from them as well. So
now, okay, so let's go back a little bit, because in all of our co-op classes, all the classes are recorded.
Correct.
So if a student happens to miss a class, they can always go back and watch the recording, or if they need to, review or refresh on a topic or anything like that, they can go back and watch the recording. And I'm lucky enough to be able to see all of y'all's recorded classes, because I'm the one uploading them to our learning management system. And I was just fascinated with that geologist that you had on. I ended up watching the whole class because it was just so fascinating.
Yeah.
So besides the recorded classes, all the parents and all the students also have access to you via the forum. Correct. So if students have questions or need help with anything, you're available in the forum and to be contacted.
So when we finish every class, I go straight to the forum and I put up our revised syllabus with the new assignments on it. Rather than overwhelming you on day one, I just keep a rolling tally. And so you can go in there and click any worksheets. So I might give you a worksheet of Latin roots, and I use the word worksheet pretty liberally. That is just a page of Latin roots for your knowledge. It's not a fill in the blank kind of worksheet. Yeah. Or I may put in a picture of my journal page because I work on a journal page, and that way you can go back and see the phyla that we covered and my photos not photos, my drawings. And remember, I'm doing that live on camera, so they're not perfect art pieces. They are just memory pieces for me. So it's nice to be able to have that place to share back and forth with the kids and the parents alike.
I love that. All right, let's see. Let's talk about middle school science. We had a couple of kiddos in your middle school, and Belinda says that she hopes to take it again this semester. Tell us a little bit about your middle school classes.
Okay, so middle school science is 6th, 7th, and 8th grade science. And the reason we kind of do it all together, all 3 grade levels, is because in middle school, science is cyclical, which means it's general science. So it's biology, astronomy, all of the sciences, physics, everything, in little bitty snippets. So in 6th grade, you'll get the overview of those little bitty snippets. In 7th grade, you'll go a little bit deeper. And in 8th grade, of course, you would go even deeper. So you're hearing the same thing 3 years in a row, but you're going to grasp more of it every year. So in the fall semester, we went all the way up through astronomy, and we've got a little bit of astronomy we're going to start with this spring semester, because we can see some really cool things coming up in the next 2 months in the sky, like some eclipses and things that we'll talk about. And then we're going to go into animals and plants and ecology. So again, you don't have to take one to do the other. You can take 102 before 101. It's all interchangeable and fun for us to go play.
Right, especially with the middle school class, you can definitely just jump in, because like you said, you're kind of on a rotation. Mm-hmm. And I love that you approach it that way, because obviously that's the way Charlotte Mason approached it too. Right. Is that kids would have every single science discipline, so to speak, every year. So they would just cover it again and again and again, and at a deeper level. And so technically, students could take your middle school science class for 3 straight years, correct?
Yeah. So in the fall semester, we read Napoleon's Buttons, because we did a lot of chemistry in the fall semester. In the spring semester, we're going to read Thoreau. But next year and the year after that, we'll read 2 different books. So if you're in it all 3 years, you'll have 6 living history books that you will have read during that time period with me, and the cyclical science. So it'll be a lot of fun.
I love Thoreau. I love that. I'm so glad you're doing that one.
Yeah, and we're doing it with his. The book that I suggested they buy has Walden and A Walk in the Woods in it. I don't know if you've ever read A Walk in the Woods, but it's one of my favorite short essays of his.
Yeah, I've read almost everything by him. I love him so much.
Well, that's good.
And well, yeah, I want to read some John Muir, but I haven't. That's on my to-do list.
Yes. Well, I know you and I talked, I guess, at the end of the fall about doing a kind of a highlight of some of the best environmentalists of the historical times. And
Yeah.
so I've been playing with that. So I've been reading a lot of John Muir lately.
Oh,
So.
good. Oh, that would be such a great class. Oh, I love that idea. Okay, so moving on to Field Notes Friday, which is all ages.
All ages, mom, dad, grandma, Aunt Susan, the whole family is invited. And so the way Field Notes Friday works is we'll give a broad, generalized, what I call an umbrella topic, something that can be found no matter where you are in the world. So we might do a leaf study, we might do an insect study, we might look for evidence of something, but something pretty general. And I talk to you a little bit, give you a little bit of background. I set up the page with you so you know exactly kind of what the idea is for the day. And sometimes we may just take a wonder walk where you go outside and you find 3 things that catch your interest. So like wonder with an O, but also wonder with an A because you're walking around. So both wonders are covered. And you'll do your page for 20 minutes outside and you'll come back and we'll talk about those pages. So it gives you a little bit of time in your own nearby nature, but with some direction for those who maybe aren't as comfortable. I give tips and tricks for drawing as well. So as we're going through and sketching things before the class starts, I'll be like, we're on the hunt for insects. Remember, insects have 6 legs and 3 body parts. And here's a simple insect and its diagram. And here are a couple of extra body shapes that you might see while you're outside, just to give you a little bit of a foundation if you're not comfortable with the art part of it.
I love Field Notes Friday because, number one, it's so much fun, but also because, kids don't even know necessarily that they're doing science.
No, not at all. They have so much fun. And I'm so amazed at even the little bitty ones, what they know in their backyard. Like they'll come in and be like, well, I was studying at the fig tree today and I saw 3 different species of, and you're like, you're 3 years old. What just happened? But they're picking it up from their older siblings, or they've been visiting the fig tree for 6 months. And so they know that they're learning all these things, but it's not forced upon them. So it's pretty good.
And I love that you have varying levels of involvement depending on where a student is. So if they're younger or if they're just beginning, no matter what age, you have a certain tell us about you have 3 different ones, and I can't think of what the names were that you told me.
I work in the I notice, I wonder, it reminds me of world with the little bitty ones. And so they're learning just to make observations. And so it's more about, I wonder why that does that, or I wonder if it works like this. So it's a lot more curiosity and question driven. And then as they get a little bit older, we go into connection. So if it looks like this, does it work like that? And things along that line. If it acts like this, is it feeding like this? So they start to make those kinds of broad connections. And then at the upper level, we do a lot more data inquiry and data input, which is what most people call true science. But all of it is field investigation, and all of that is useful science. Even the college professor will go out and do an I notice, I wonder, it reminds me of kind of page when they're working on something.
Yeah, because that's the foundation of science, is the observation part. Correct. And we can start that from day one. And like I said, kids don't even necessarily realize that they're doing science when they do all of those things. Mm-hmm. So.
And it's fun. It's fun when the kids make a connection and mom gets the connection after the kids. The aha moment on their face is just as fun. So we were talking about antlers and how antlers fall off one class. And I don't even remember when, but And so we were talking about why you have antlers, because it can't be protection because they fall off and you won't want your protection to fall off. And, the kids worked through that and came up to attract a girlfriend. And mom was like, wait, but they fell off. How do they get bigger? And it's, well, they have to grow bigger. And then the mom's like, wow, so that really is like an attractant. Like, you can see this whole connection going in their mind that they hadn't thought about. And it wasn't that they didn't know these things. They just never stopped to think about it.
Yeah. There's so much of that in our world that we don't stop to think about. Yeah. And you've got some really good reviews. I don't know if I have time to read any, but so Belinda says, she said her preteen even said the class was cool, and that's a lot coming from a preteen. Stacy says Lari Jo is awesome. They love getting out into nearby nature. Let's see. We love Miss Lari Jo. She's amazing with the kids and so willing to share her knowledge. Here's one. What a delight. Okay, this is something I hear a lot. My one hesitation was an online nature study class. How does that work? But it totally does. And then Leslie Ann said, but you do a wonderful job by getting us out into nature during class time. And her son enjoyed searching the backyard so much that he was so determined to find something exciting to share with the group that he actually spent more time than he usually does really looking closely at everything. Mm-hmm. And I love that because kids are so excited to share what they found and what they noticed and then what they drew in their journals. And I love that part of your class where everybody's just holding up their nature journal and sharing and showing everybody. It's just so wonderful.
Yeah, it's a really important part of nature journaling and science in general is that sharing of thought. People don't think about it, but professors have to share their thoughts and they have to collaborate and work together. So by sharing your journal, you're taking a confidence level that a lot of kids don't have and a lot of parents don't have. And I love it when someone grabs mom's journal or dad's journal and goes, look what they drew today, because mom or dad probably wouldn't have the confidence to do that, but their children will do it for them. And so then that opens up a whole nother discussion about, oh, wow, they were looking at a different part of the tree, because they were taller or whatever the case may be. And how did that differ from what you saw in your own backyard? And so it's a lot of fun. And it's a really good skill to have to be able to share your work.
And I love also that you, like you mentioned, you give a little bit of instruction on like drawing and how to do a nature journal, what to put on the page, because so many people are afraid of that blank page and they just don't know how to start. Mm-hmm. So you really help people get started in that area as well. And then, which leads me into your field sketching class that you did in the fall. Now, you're not doing it again live this semester, but folks can take the recorded class if they want to. And so now they can go at their own pace. They can do the homework assignments. Tell us a little bit about the field sketching class.
So Intro to Field Sketching is just what it says. It's some introductory art lessons. So in one, you may be learning about color. In one, you may be learning about how to use just a little bit of everything in a small overview. We start with landscape. So we start with that big picture and we work our way down into parts of a whole. So that's like the leaf being separate from the stem, being separate from the petal, being separate from the pollen, and then putting it all back together to make a whole flower. So we work in all levels and we draw something at the beginning and we draw that same thing at the end. And that allows you to have a baseline of where you started with your skills and where you end up with your skills, it's huge. I mean, we did that class in a semester. I usually do it in a year. So I usually do it over a full school year, a full 9 months. And the amount of change, because we pushed everything together and they drew every day was amazing to watch with those kids and their moms, but especially the kids when they, I had one in the class that was really into fish, and my undergrad is marine biology. So I spent a day at the aquarium looking at fish for her. And then we did a whole lesson on dolphins and mammals and fish. And I used what I had gone back and studied in the aquarium as the lesson to help her better her dolphin drawings. And she was very excited.
And that's one of the great benefits of taking a live class with the co-op is that, you know, we as the teachers can guide the class experience to tailor it to, that's the word I'm looking for, tailor it to the students that are in the class.
That's true.
Yeah, and answer questions and all sorts of stuff. And it's just been such a wonderful, wonderful fall semester. And I'm looking forward to the spring. And yeah, we got lots of families on board and looking forward to it. We'll be starting here over the next couple of weeks. So some classes are starting this coming week, and then there's classes starting almost, I think, every single week for like the next 3 or 4 weeks. So
I believe my first class is middle school science on the 24th or 25th, one of those two. So so I start week after next.
Yeah, so go check out all of Lari Jo's classes. The pages will be updating the class dates because we are going to stagger the start dates now. So we'll be updating that this afternoon, and then y'all can go check out all the wonderful offerings that Lari Jo has. Oh, hold on. Let me see. We got a question. Wait, is this for me or let me see. Oh, do you still include science books from your list when the kids are taking online middle school co-op class? Belinda says.
So the science book that we're using for middle school is just an overview science book. It's everything you need to know to pass middle school science. It's a big fat notebook is what they're called, the series. My main focus is the living history books, though, and I pull that list, of course, from Rachel's list, and we go from there. But the reason I use that is if you do have to take a standardized test, those are the things that are covered on that standardized test. If you choose to go into high school, into a public school, or into college even, those big fat notebooks are written to base on those standardized tests. And so it's a nice way to cover that information in a Charlotte Mason way.
Yeah, and not in a boring kind of textbook way. And
worksheets and lectures. Although I do feel sometimes that you have to lecture a little, but I try to make it fun.
Yeah, well, and then you also do some science experiments live with the kids, and then the kids go
finish it. So I do one piece, and then they come up with what they want their variable to be, and then they go complete the science experiment. So I give them the control, and they do the rest. And we'll do several of those, more field investigation-y than we did with the chemistry stuff, but we'll have lots of those this spring. So
Belinda says, thank you.
Sure.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you, Lari Jo, for talking with us. I appreciate it. And go sign up for Lari Jo's classes because they are fabulous. Lari Jo.
Lots of fun. If you're not having fun, I'm doing something wrong. So we need to work on that.
All right. Thank you, Lari Jo.
All right. See you later.
Bye.